Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Jessie and this is Playful Moon Tarot. In today's video we're going to talk about connecting with your soul paths or path. Most of us have more than one, and I've been feeling like this has really been in the collective as well as like a personal experience that I've been going through. So I'm just sharing my journey with you today in hopes that it helps you. Even if it just helps one person. So connecting with your soul paths. So for me, a soul path is something that I came down here and I feel destined to have an experience, okay? Whether I know I'm going to date a certain person, or I want to have a certain job, or I want to travel to a certain part of the world, there's something about that calling and you can't deny it. And even if you do try to deny it, it keeps coming back. And so with a soul path, it's like your soul is literally destined to come down and have that experience. And how that experience can come about can be totally different, right? Like with how you're going to be able to attain that. And you can really find luck in some of the oddest places. And so I just wanted to share a few things. So I love music, and I wanted to work in the music industry. So in my teenage years, I was like, how am I going to break into an industry? Like I was working at like clothing stores and like telemarketing and pizza places. And I just had this dream, and I wasn't going to school for anything. I wasn't a musician. And so how was I going to make this happen? And I kept thinking about it, and I just knew that I needed to have this experience. This was an experience I came down here to have. I got a connection through a telemarketing job. I called, I asked to speak to the business manager. 9 times out of 10, I would get hung up on because they knew like, oh, it's a telemarketer. And I got patched through, and I did my spiel, and the guy on the other end was really nice. And he was like, well, we don't need that. And I said, well, what do you do? And he said, concert promotion. And I was like, what? How'd you get that job? Being the cool kid? That's literally what I said to him. And he laughed, and we started talking, and he said, well, do you want to do an internship? And I thought he was just talking to talk, right? Like I didn't believe him, but we ended up exchanging emails, and I went home, and I was kind of like, that was too good to be true. And I didn't follow up. I don't know why, but I didn't follow up. I think just because I didn't believe it, right? I was like, well, that's too good to be true. A couple weeks later, he actually emailed me and was like, hey, I was serious about that internship. So I started, and then I worked my way up. And of course it takes a lot of work, right? To like get to that ultimate destination. But I wanted to like be a tour manager. Like I was going to go to the top. And about 6 years into that career, it really started to fall out of alignment with me. And I went through kind of like this very dark period of like, well, now what do I want to do? Like, what's this like next experience that I want to have? And I love animals. And I thought, I really want to like work with animals now. Like that's what's calling to me. That's what seems like it fits in alignment with things. Because the thing is the career in rock and roll fit with some of my needs, but not all of them. And as I was shifting and growing as a person, I fell out of alignment with that. And when we fall out of alignment with what we're familiar with, we go through this kind of like identity crisis. Because I was like, well, if I'm not a production assistant and runner, what am I? So then I started volunteering at an animal clinic at a veterinary office, and I worked my way up. I ended up eventually owning my own pet sitting company. And then that started to fall out of alignment with me. And just recently, I've really been kind of going through these shifts again, which is why I want to do this video, because I've been feeling kind of in the dark. And I've always loved tarot since I was like 13. I think I got my first tarot deck when I was like 13 from Pal's Books in Portland, Oregon. So shout out to Pal's. Awesome store. I don't know where this tarot thing has come from. Nobody in my family is really into tarot cards. Like some of them are, but not in the way that I am, not in the way that I have been in the background of my life. Like there's constantly been this thing, like I want to be like a tarot healer, energy worker, but I wasn't sure how to like break into this industry. And I thought maybe I'll work at a crystal shop, and then start doing tarot reads there. And that didn't work. That, like, I had a specific shop in mind, and I was so convinced that I was going to work there, and it didn't pan out. And I've kind of been in the dark going, how am I going to do this? But here we are. I have access to this wonderful platform called YouTube. I can totally upload videos and start building my channel and my community the way that I want. And it's giving me freedom. And so even though my channel is very new, I still am really enjoying it. And this is what feels more in alignment with where I'm at now. So we can go through these rough periods. We can hit roadblocks, speed bumps, potholes, find opportunities in the most random places, like telemarketing to, driving artists around. Like, so when I say in my tarot readings, like, be open to spirit, it's just because you can find things where you least expect it. And I was always expecting that I would be like a tarot reader in a crystal shop. But when we put ourselves into those boxes, we kind of box our soul in, and we don't allow it to grow and expand and show us all these other avenues that are available to us. So it's kind of like the Four of Cups energy, where it's like you're looking at the two spilt cups, but there's actually like some opportunities like right behind you if you just kind of like turn around. And what makes it feel so like desperate sometimes around these situations is because our soul came down here to experience it. And it's kind of like up to us to like keep on that mission and keep going with what really calls to our soul. But we also have to be open to how that can come about. And so I just encourage anybody, like, if you want to break into a new career field, if you want to start doing something new, like, you will have the inspiration to get stuff done. That might require going to school. It might require, kind of juggling your life around. Currently, right now, I pretty much work 7 days a week, which is not a work-life balance, but that's something that I'm working towards. And so it's, sometimes we have to do these things and juggle to get to those experiences. But then once we get there, isn't that so sweet? And so I really hope that this helps somebody out there that might be struggling, might not quite understand. Like, if there's an experience that you want to have, like, it will come to you at the right time, and some of us come down and we have to go through like a few lifetimes, right? Like, for example, like the Wright brothers come to mind, and like building an airplane. I feel like their souls came down and like spent maybe a few lifetimes going through the mathematics and the aerodynamics and building things that maybe didn't work until they kind of got it right. And I feel like every time your soul comes down and has an experience and like practices something, it gets kind of like stronger with it each lifetime, if that makes sense. And so don't give up. And the things that are meant to come to you in this lifetime, they will find you at the right time. You just have to be open to spirit. So don't get discouraged. Don't quit. Just rest when you're feeling, a little bogged down, but then get back up and keep trying. And so I'm just sending out love and light to everybody that sees this video. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.